Good Saturday afternoon and welcome back to Cougar Puck Radio. I'm Matt Gajtka and we are live high above the ice surface at Trinity Health Arena on the Lakeshore here in Muskegon as Catholic Central wraps up a 2-game and 2-day stretch with a matchup against the Reeths-Puffer Rockets. Last night the Cougars collected their second consecutive tie. They had a 2-2 tie against Caledonia before the holiday break. Then coming back for New Year 2026, Catholic Central rallied from two separate one-goal deficits in the third period to draw Rockford 3-3. And while the Cougars would love to finish off one of these games, either in the third period or overtime, they're loving their competitiveness against a couple of the top teams in the OK Roo division. But today they go outside the Roo division, still in the OK Conference, but against a team that has done well so far in the Fisher division, the Reeths-Puffer Rockets, with a record of 7-5-1 for Coach Bill Zalba, who returns behind the bench after a brief hiatus. Reeths-Puffer 2-2 in the Fisher division, so they're right in the middle of the pack, and they are trying to get into the top four, just like the Cougars are before the end of the regular season, so they can play for a championship in the OK Conference tournament in about a month's time, a little bit more than that, in fact, in early February. Reeths-Puffer got off to a 1-3-1 start this year, but since then they've won 6 of their last 8, and they've averaged over 6 goals per game. That's right, over 6 per game during the last 8, although they were shut down pretty well right here on home ice against Mona Shores on December the 30th. They were out to a 1-0 lead in that game where the Rockets, but the Sailors scored the final 3. And that was an impressive defensive performance from Mona Shores to limit this Rocket squad that is averaging on the season, even including that early tough stretch, over 4 goals on the board per outing. Catholic Central is scoring just 2.5 per game this season, but they're allowing 2.4. So they are at home in those close, low-scoring games, and that's what their first-year head coach, Kyle Marchand, wants to instill in them, is not necessarily being content with being in a close game, but at the same time, not panicking, not trying to force the issue when maybe the offense isn't coming quite so easily, which was the case for much of last night's game. The Cougars got 2 power play goals, which certainly helped the cause, as they convert at a 13% rate on the season. So a multi-goal game from the power play has been rare this year, but they went 2 for 5, including Noah Onstott's tying goal with about 5 minutes to go in the third period. Rockford went right back ahead with a PPG of their own, but with the extra attacker on the ice and goalie Jacob Aaron off on the bench, Carson Carlander deposited his second goal of the game to send that game to overtime. Also of note for Catholic Central yesterday, Jackson Dozema added a couple more assists. He's got 7 on the season to lead the squad, and Noah Onstott, his third period goal from out by the point was his 6th of the season. The defender, Onstott, his second year with the Cougars varsity squad, now leads the team with 6 goals from the blue line, and he's still got another year to play after this one. Onstott continues to come into his own. Jacob Aaron made 27 saves in his second consecutive tie, and the second straight tie in which he battled one of the better goaltenders in West Michigan to a draw, literally. The first time it was against Sam Hogue of Caledonia. Last night it was against 4-year starter Nolan Williams of Rockford. So despite the fact the Cougars are now 1-2-3 in their last 6, a lot of good things to build on, and they're hoping to once again control the game and force a high-powered offense in Reeths-Puffer to play from zone to zone and not give them a lot of transition opportunities. So that'll be part of the task today for this matinee matchup. Quick turnaround as the Cougars got off the ice around 7:15 last night. They're right back to it at noon today. We are expecting the goaltending matchup, by the way, to be Jacob Aaron for the Cougars and Bear Van Dyke for Reeths-Puffer. Van Dyke, just a freshman, but has started 11 of the 13 games so far for the Rockets with an .834 save percentage and a 3.59 goals against average. Aaron on the season, updated with last night's statistics, a .910 save percentage and a 2.36 goals against. As you might know, he is the only goaltender on the Cougars roster, much like last year. So he's the workhorse, and he has earned that right to be relied upon. There's a reason that the Cougars were okay going into the season with just the one goalie. Of course, you'd prefer to have a backup available, but Aaron has shown now for the second straight year that he is fully capable of handling that massive workload. Warm-ups are over from here at Trinity Health Arena, the home of the USHL's Muskegon Lumberjacks. Reeths-Puffer plays a lot of home games here. They play some out at Lakeshore Ice Arena as well. This is the first trip into Trinity Health in a few years for the Catholic Central Cougars. Last year they played at Mona Shores, but that was at Lakeshore, which is just off of Interstate 96. This one right in downtown Muskegon on the shores of Lake Michigan. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. Reminder, you can like and subscribe and sign up for notifications so you know when we're going live with all of our broadcasts. We'll have one more in this early 2026 stretch on Tuesday, by the way, as the Cougars welcome Sparta to Southside Ice Arena. So 3 games in 5 days coming out of the Christmas break. Catholic Central felt like it found its legs late in last night's game, and they'll look to shake off, the accumulated fatigue from a full effort performance that went, of course, well beyond regulation. They played the full 8 minutes of overtime against Rockford. Starting lineups being announced right now by the public address announcer. We've got Jackson Dozema up front for the Cougars alongside Karsten Carlander and Jack Reynolds. Carlander coming off the 2-goal outing last night. On defense, we'll see Noah Onstad and Casey Ten Harmsel. And in goal is Aaron. As for Reeths-Puffer, on defense, Connor Anderson along with Caden Benner. And then it's Tyler Cootie with, it looks to be Dominic Switzer, a new addition this year for the Rockets, and Rohan Moyer. That's the top line for Coach Bill Zauba and Bear Van Dyke between the pipes. Time for the national anthem from Trinity Health Arena in Muskegon. Back for the drop of the puck after this break. Grand Rapids Catholic Central boys hockey is brought to you by our Royal Blue sponsors, Chris Back, Fox Motors, Sharp Automotive, and 3-in-1 Solutions. Let's hear it for them, in addition to all of our generous sponsors, bringing you the 52nd season of Catholic Central varsity hockey, a long tradition, and a tradition that appears to be, well, back on the rise here this season. The Cougars are in the top half of the OK Roo and attempting to stay there at the very least. Of course, you want to finish as high as you can, but top 4 out of the 8 gets you a spot in the championship bracket, shall we say, of the conference tournament. The Cougars, by the way, just have a couple more OK Roo Division games as this begins a stretch of 4 consecutive out of the Roo Division. They've got showdowns with Byron Center and East Grand Rapids, both at Southside, coming up later this month. But as for right now, they settle in against a Reeths-Puffer Rockets outfit here in Muskegon. The drop of the puck at Trinity Health Arena, and we're off and rolling. The puck deflected back into the Cougars' end. Chasing after it, Noah Onstott. Onstott, 6 goals on the season to lead all Cougars. To the far side wall, Reynolds couldn't flush it out. Following on is Ten Harmsel, and he guides it through center. Got bumped on the far wing by the co-captain of the Rockets, Anderson. That's Connor Anderson. Moyer fields this puck at the center red line. Threw it away in the middle. Jackson Dozema gobbles it up for Catholic Central. Driving wide, Dozema with his line mates changing behind him, trying to buy some time, Dozema. 7 assists on the season. 2 last night. Dozema hightails it for the bench. Hear the coaches yelling from up here. Great audio. Great nat sound, as we would say in the business, as Moss rifles the shot. That's blocked by Anderson to the near corner. Cooper Moss had a couple of chances in overtime to win it last night. Could not convert. He's still looking to get on track from the goal-scoring department. He led the team in goals last year. Just the 3 so far through the unofficial first half or so of this season. Breaking the play up is Isaac Kappinga. He's got Moss with him on a 2-on-1. Kappinga across Moss. He scores! On cue, Cooper Moss shovels it behind Bear Van Dyke from the right edge of the crease. And it's 1-0 Catholic Central. Moss's 4th of the season, set up by his fellow senior line mate, Isaac Kappinga. And give me fuel, give me fire. Cougars on top early for the 2nd straight. Well, I was going to say night, but call it 2nd straight game as we're here in the afternoon. No alarm clock needed for Catholic Central as the Cougars score 1 minute and 11 seconds in, courtesy of Moss. Kappinga gets the primary helper as he orchestrated that play, hanging onto the puck down the left wing before firing a perfectly timed pass right onto the blade of Moss. All he had to do was redirect that as he steered it in, getting it up off the ice as well, a couple of feet to prevent Van Dyke from making a fantastic save. So there we go. The start Catholic Central's looking for. And a turnover by the Rockets again. Gage Potter. Catholic Central played last night. You might say that's a disadvantage. Maybe not, because it's the first game in a few days for the Rockets. Here's a driving play and a shot that's blocked. Hayden Taylor couldn't get that through. Looked like Pastelli got in the way of that one. Pastelli, native of St. Joe, Michigan, joining the Cougars after playing some AAA hockey in recent years. He's a senior. There's a couple of Reeths-Puffer Rockets like that, too. Rohan Moyer and Dominic Switzer. Switzer played for Fox, actually, last season. Colnon forcing it toward the front of the Rockets' goal. Benner headed him off at the pass, and Anderson couldn't quite clear. Held in at the point by Alex Gavorkian. And back in behind the Rockets' net. Trying to emerge was Taylor. He's stripped by Cade Heminger. On the puck, Caleb McLean. Well, it worked for Moss, so I'll say Caleb McLean looking for his first goal of the season and of his Cougars career. Icing the call coming up against Reeths-Puffer, and that'll drag the faceoff back down to our left. Yeah, much higher angle tonight than it was last night. We're barely off the ice at Griff's Ice House whenever the Cougars go in to play Rockford. A little different here. Big thanks to Ezra Janello, the voice of the Lumberjacks, for giving us access to the press area. One of my favorite places I've ever called a game from. Basic rule of thumb, the higher you are, the easier it is to ID players and get you the accurate play-by-play. So I like that a lot. Ten Harmsel back for it. Looks over his shoulder, turns it up the far side wall. His delivery looking for Noah Berkmeyer in the middle. That was deflected away from him and scooped up by Chase Strunk. He dumps it behind Aaron, leaves it there for Ten Harmsel. And the Cougars re-rack. Jensen, who had a couple of great chances on the power play last night, just couldn't quite convert. He deflected it through out to center, but dumped right back in by the Rockets. Turned behind the goal, Sheldon Frederick. Good pass out in front. Johnson couldn't handle it. Now lassoed by Silvis. Drifts it back to Strunk. A shot deflected just wide of the left post by a couple of inches. The Rockets get their offense engaged. Bounced wide of goal. Aaron lets it go. Gevorkian has some time and space. Lifts it ahead. Jensen nearly got around his checker, Thomas Grassman. But now Grassman takes over. Forehand move right over the center ice logo. The Lumberjacks celebrating a Clark Cup championship. They got it last year on the road at Dubuque. Again, Muskegon with a long and successful high-level hockey tradition. Right toward the front of the net. Whacked away from Jack Reynolds. On the move, Dominic Switzer. Dump and chase on for the Rockets. But there's Parker Moore for Catholic Central. Finesses it up the near side, broken up, and taken away by the co-captain Tyler Cootie. Backhands a feed, far side. Caden Benner activates from his point position. Out high, Cootie shooting. Where'd that go? It deflected to the left side of the net. Benner back on it as he stays below the goal line. Cootie covering up for him out high. Fluid game right now for the Rockets. Turned over in the middle. Carlander picked it off with that long stick. And Carlander lofts it down, but should be short of the icing line. Yes, it will be, as it's ruled that Tyler Cootie could have touched it. 12:08 to go in the first. 5 minutes in, Catholic Central again with an early lead. Unlike last night, they did not give up that lead right away. You want to get that lead, you want to hold that lead. Get comfortable playing from out in front. Benner pivots and feeds into the skates of Rohan Moyer, but he's skilled enough to handle that and take it back into the offensive zone. Moyer's dump into the near corner. Redirected ahead by Switzer. Changing direction. Moore lost his stick. Switzer centering pass just out of the reach of Moyer. And it careens all the way back in front of the Rockets bench, where it's gunned right back in by Reeths-Puffer. Chase Strunk taking care of that. Cleared by Onstadt. All the way down it goes. Will it be wide of goal? Yes, it will. Icing against Catholic Central for the first time in this game. Bear Van Dyke and the Reeths-Puffer net a record of 5-5-1 in his first varsity action of his career. Jacob Aaron 7-3-3 this season. The Cougars are 2-1-2 in the Roo division as they step out of division play for a while. They've got Sparta coming up. Do the Cougars, as well as Big Rapids next weekend. Actually, that's 2 weekends from now, excuse me. Pastelli tries to drive it around and out, couldn't do it after the faceoff was controlled by the Cougars, but having a hard time getting out from behind their net. Brady calling on, coughed it up the middle. Eli Cootie, a pass to the doorstep, and Benkert couldn't get a stick on it. It crashed off his skate and went wide. Back out to center. Eli Cootie revving it up. He's got 23 points on the year to lead the Rockets, including 17 assists. Pastelli couldn't flush it by Eli Cootie. First on the forward check. Taking over now, Gavin Huskins. His first touch of the puck today. And Catholic Central systematically works the puck out over their own blue line. Calling on. Quick pass, short pass off to Heminger. And a handoff to Huskins. He drives it ahead, but Strunk knocked it down in front of his bench. Lofted ahead to Taylor. Taylor makes a move. Shooting high on Aaron. Made the save, but it rebounded in the slot and turned out of the zone by the Cougars. Jack Reynolds got there to knock it away. Those high shots off the shoulders. Tough for goalies to control. Got to be ready for that rebound if you're playing defense or offense for that matter. Ten Harmsel. Sailing down the left wing side, good skating to the doorstep with that pass and just away from Cohen Potter. The net looks like it's off its pegs, but the Rockets turn it back up ice. So for now, play continues on. Gevorkian dumps it right on goal. Van Dyke makes the save, but that wouldn't have counted as the net is way off, both pegs now. And the Rockets don't like Cohen Potter mixing it up in front of the net. What else is new? It was Potter who ended up drawing that 5-minute major match penalty against Noah Matheson of Rockford last night that led to the Cougars tying goal. Well, their first of 2 tying goals in the third period. Potter is a disturber, no doubt about that. Two very different players, the two Potter brothers. Gage Potter more cerebral, trying to find that open ice, and he's shown a good scoring touch as a freshman. And Cohen brings the energy each and every night. Gevorkian drives it off the glass. Cleared by Berkmeyer. No icing there as it's knocked right back into the offensive zone, but that's offside against the Rockets. Berkmeyer was just trying to get it down the rink, and instead it banged into a body of one of the Rockets. That was Benner who got in the way of it. One 0 Catholic Central on an early goal by Cooper Moss. Great to see him get going, and we hope he continues it. Dozema couldn't make a move. That's offside. Poke checked at the line was Dozema by Caden Benner, one of the co-captains. It was dragged right back in by Ten Harmsel, but not a legal play. Moss from Kappinga and Gage Potter is how that first goal reads. So Gage Potter gets point number 10. He leads this squad as a 9th grader. Gotta love the future for him. Anderson back to retrieve for the Rockets. Twisted up the middle, turned it over to Ten Harmsel in neutral ice, who fires it ahead. Anderson on it again for the boys in green and gray, the Reeths-Puffer Rockets from the OK Fisher division. Dumped in, and that's icing against Reeths-Puffer. The Rockets recently in division play, I mentioned, lost to Mona Shores. They beat East Kentwood 9-1 in a Mercy Rule game here at Trinity Health. And they also demolished Grand Haven 8-2. That was back in early December. Catholic Central has not seen any of those opponents yet. They did see Granville, though, and Reeths-Puffer was shut out 5-0 by Granville. And the Cougars say join the club. That was the exact same score they lost to the Bulldogs, who are state-ranked. Flipped into the stands on the near side by Thomas Grassman. No penalty at this level, just a defensive zone face-off coming up. So after this, Catholic Central's got Sparta on Tuesday. Next Friday, they're at Griffs West to face West Ottawa. That's another OK Fisher Division opponent. Then against Big Rapids. That's next, or 2 Fridays from now, 12 o'clock start for that one. So the boys get a nice half day, maybe even less than that, before they head north to Big Rapids. And then the showdown with Byron Center on the 17th at Southside on the green rink, the Bulldogs' home rink. Grassman guides it up the boards, out to center. Kappinga couldn't make a move into the zone. Well, he did momentarily, and that's why the offside whistle. Moss is saying, I cleared the zone, but apparently not to the satisfaction of the linesman on the near side. We're more than halfway through the first period, 8:13 to go in it. Busy hockey weekend around the world. We've got, of course, MHSAA high school action, along with the usual assortment of junior hockey, like here in Muskegon. It's Fury night for the Lumberjacks, honoring their previous iteration back when they were minor pro squad, and boy, did they ever clean up as the Fury. A couple of championships, some memorable games, both here at LC Walker and on the road in that era. Back to take it on Stott. Kappinga, great puck support to get there, help out his teammate, and he drives it off the boards and out. Anderson does a button hook back in his own end for Reeths-Puffer. Good pass up ahead. Eli Cootie's open. Cootie's feed, far side, a shot drifting wide from Rohan Moyer. He was open, and he tried to pick the top right corner unsuccessfully. Anderson under pressure. Kappinga, he's ready to go this afternoon. Kappinga centering, looking. Off the bench came Heminger, but couldn't get it to him. It was deflected. Moore helps it further, though, for Catholic Central. Free in the face-off circle. Kappinga reached for it. So did Gage Potter. It's played right by both of them, and onto the blade of Tyler Cootie. Cootie closing, shooting, scoring. We're tied 1-1. And the 2-on-1 rush came out of nowhere. The Cougars had the puck in the offensive zone. They were swarming, but then it was deflected away from them out near the blue line, and the race was on. And Tyler Cootie scores his 6th goal of the season. Cootie, the junior, who attends Fruitport for this Reeths-Puffer co-op squad, he's knotted at 1-1. with 7 minutes exactly to go in the first. So that's what the Cougars didn't do against Rockford last night. They didn't allow any real rush chances to the Rams. And they're facing a similar team today in the Rockets who want to play run and gun. And that was certainly a run and gun type of play, run and gun type of goal for the Rockets. McLean behind the goal. McLean centering. Oh, man was open. Heminger in the low slot, but tipped away from him by Grassman. So the Rockets have a foothold in this game. We're tied at 1. Bad turnover in the middle. Collinon, though, couldn't handle it. It was airborne by about a foot, and it rattled off his shin pad, but Collinon gets it back. His pass against the grain for Heminger. Turned it in front off the side of the net. McLean ladles it on goal. Save made by Van Dyke. Van Dyke has not been called upon a ton as his teammates have blocked a lot of shots since the opening goal. But he made the save there on McLean. He and Collinon teaming up at the moment. Collinon dumps in from center red. The Cougars need a line change with 6:10 left in the first. This is Matt Gajtka coming to you live from Trinity Health Arena in Muskegon, Michigan. Catholic Central stays on the road. 2 in a row to start the new year. Taylor driving wide against Kevorkian. What a goal! Taylor scores, falling to the ice, and it's suddenly 2-1 Rockets. Another rush goal for the home team. 2 goals in a minute and 4 seconds. This time Hayden Taylor cashes his 16th of the season. Big year for him. And the Cougars trail for the first time this afternoon. You can cue the Chelsea Dagger here at Trinity Health. That's hockey for you, too. The game can get away from you in a hurry if you're not careful. And that's twice the Cougars have been caught with too many men up ice. In that case, trying to complete a line change as well. And they just couldn't rally to the cause. And let's give credit to Taylor as he hoisted that forehand shot into the upper reaches of the net. Not much Aaron can do except hope that it hit him from point blank. So Catholic Central playing from behind again. Taylor centers. Good save, Aaron, on the rebound chance. After the deflection, Sheldon Frederick was robbed in front. Catholic Central's got to be careful here as Huskins pursues against Eli Cootie. Loose puck far side, whacked at by Frederick, who nearly had one for Muskegon. Or excuse me, for Reeths-Puffer out of Muskegon, of course. I think technically they are called Muskegon Reeths-Puffer, so we'll lean on that. That's the old Associated Press style. List the city first, then the school name. Catholic Central can't make it happen. Connor Anderson breaking back, and again, the Rockets try a quick strike, but his shot was blocked. Kappinga got his stick in the way. Kappinga leads the rush back. 3 men strong for Catholic Central, cutting inside on his backhand and turning to the outside as he was forced there by the defending of Anderson. Seems to be out there every other shift, Connor Anderson for Reeths-Puffer. Kappinga tying up the puck in front of the Reeths-Puffer bench. Anderson looks up. The puck poked away from him. Cooper Moss is going to have a chance for his second. He shoots. Save Van Dyke. And the rebound shoved away to the far wall. Moss had a chance to line it up. Turned over again by the Rockets right to the side of the net for Gage Potter. Both teams playing a little fast and loose right now. Bounce through the slot. Onstad flags it down on the deflection. But we have a whistle and a stoppage in play. And it's the goal again that keeps coming off behind Bear Van Dyke. Unfortunately, Catholic Central had something going there in terms of puck possession. But play halts. At least they'll get an offensive zone faceoff. From what I've seen so far, I don't think this game is going to end 2-1. Just put it that way. And the Cougars down. They're going to want to obviously push for offense, but not early or not late enough. This is way too early to open up and expose yourself on the back end as far as getting too many numbers forward. So they just got to play a patient game here, like they did last night when they were at least partially rewarded with that tie at Rockford. McLean trying to bang it up the wall once and twice. Grassman held the line, though. Onstad does clear for the Cougars with under 4 to play in the first. Strunk backhanding. Softly kept by McLean. No, it was not. It's offside. He tags up, and the Cougars can safely go after the puck again. Held in front of his bench by Parker Moore, jabbed it down the wall. Here is Potter, Cohen Potter's wrist shot, and that riser blockered away by Van Dyke. Iced by Tyler Cootie, back down to our right, and the Cougars get another offensive zone draw out of it. Well, Hayden Taylor's got 23 points now on the season. That ties him with Eli Cootie for the team lead. Taylor's goal unassisted. Tyler Cootie's goal helped by Connor Anderson, according to the live scoreboard. Have I said it before? It's great to have Game Sheet here on Michigan High School Hockey Hub this season so we can track things as they happen, as opposed to me just guessing a lot of times on assists. Educated guesses, of course, or going back after the period to watch the replay, which I still do, just to double check. Reynolds kicks it to the near wall. Jack Reynolds picking it free. His shot toward the front knocked down, though, and spun out of danger by Caden Benner. Up the near side, Eli Cootie. Run off the puck, though, by Gevorkian. Strong play. Gevorkian delays and clears. Bouncing puck got by Benner at the blue line. The Rockets regroup. And Cootie deflects it ahead, but he was in an offside position when he did that. And that draws the faceoff back just outside the Reeths-Puffer line. The Rockets get a change. The Rockets stumbled out of the gate. They beat Rockford in the opener at Griff's Ice House, but then lost to Troy, Grand Rapids Christian, and Granville. They tied Gabriel Richard, out of Riverview, same Pioneers that the Cougars fell to in the opener, although that one was wiped out due to an ineligible player for the Pioneers. Potter takes it back. High shot. Gage Potter nearly sniped Van Dyke, but it rattles off his glove and goes over the crossbar. Kappinga yanks it to the middle. Great move. Hit the bar with the shot. Catholic Central inches away from tying it up late in the first. But we play on. Kappinga loves to grab the puck at the half wall and make that move for the good ice, if you will, between the hashes. He did it again there and nearly scored because of it. And we've got a penalty. Our first penalty of the game about to be called against Reeths-Puffer. Sent to the box, Drew Benner, the right-handed shooting D-man. He shakes his head, but he's nabbed for holding. And the Cougars send what was an effective power play last night over the boards. 2:28 to go in the first. Catholic Central down a goal in Muskegon. Kappinga gets the call at the faceoff dot against Eli Cootie. Kappinga won it cleanly right back. Parker Moore settles in, avoids the sweep check from Benkert. Moore holding, giving, Onstadt. He scored from a similar spot last night. Moore, the shot deflected by Van Dyke, rebound, score! It shuffled into the net, and I think it was Kappinga. It was. Isaac Kappinga got the last stick on it. He and Moss were right there. It's already a 2-point afternoon for the Cougar captain, and it's a PPG for CC. The power play's getting hot, and he's rolling down Rodeo. Isaac Kappinga. I said the Cougars didn't need an alarm to get going. He certainly has been a self-starter this afternoon. It's 2-2 with 2:13 left in the first. We haven't seen too many of these types of games for the Cougars this year. They're both scoring and allowing right around 2.5 goals per game, so we're nearing that pace, and we're not done with the first period. Gage Potter picks up an assist. Here's a shot from the point by Pastelli, blocked down in front. Heminger hacks it wide, leaps off the end boards, and plucked free by the Rockets. They can't clear. Held by Moore. His shot stopped. Van Dyke rebound, and it's off his stick. Hops over to the near corner. 1:41 to go in the first period. Action-packed from Trinity Health Arena. Finesse down into the corner that belongs to Parker Moore. He takes command. Moore with that white stick. Almost disappears against the white of the ice from up at this angle. Moore cradles it. Here he goes, due north. Parker Moore, toe drag, off for Cohen Potter, a wrister, a little offline, but a pad save nonetheless by Bear Van Dyke. Rockets can't clear. Cootie coughs it up. Carlander a shot deflected by Cohen Potter. Save by Van Dyke, and he pounces on the rebound at the top of the blue paint. Encouraging pushback from Catholic Central after falling behind 2-1 as they're taking command again. The goal reads Kappinga from Moss and Potter. 2 points for Gage Potter already today, as he had the secondary on the first goal as well. 2 points for Moss, a goal and an assist. 2 points for Kappinga, a goal and an assist. The top line fully engaged. The faceoff won by Carlander, back to Dozema, curling out high, left it back. Big drive from Ten Harmsel, got the glass. Pulled off the boards by Ten Harmsel, or excuse me, that was Carlander. Back to Onstad. Dozema deflected his shot, ends up side of the net. Reynolds just waited a bit to try to make that pass and was whacked off his blade as a result. 45 seconds to go in the first period. In a 2-2 game, Ten Harmsel settles in behind his goal. His attempted breakout pass, though, deflected by Jordan Benkert of Reeths-Puffer. Onstad's got to try to emerge out the far side. He was pulled down. It'll be another penalty against the Rockets. Aaron heading to the bench to get an extra attacker out there, but he couldn't quite make it. Nonetheless, power play number 2 coming up for the Cougars. At the end of this period, everything's coming up Catholic Central. Co-captain Tyler Cootie to the box for a trip. 30 seconds to go. Wouldn't it be something if the Cougars can jump on top before the break? They've got an opportunity, and their power play is 3 for its last 6. That conversion rate heading straight up the charts. Moss a shot, save Van Dyke. It stays off the high glass, in play. Gage Potter behind the goal, assessing his options. He's got 20 seconds. Delivers it to Onstad. Left point Onstad. Stick handles, shooting toward the front, off the skate of Benner and just away from Gage Potter, who gets it back to Moore. A shot save. Moss the rebound. Oh, Van Dyke made a spectacular stop, and it's under his pad somehow. That would have easily been in most circumstances. I don't know how Van Dyke kept that pad pinned down to the ice, because Moss absolutely hammered that shot from 5 feet out. So that close to a 3-2 lead, and the Cougars get one more face-off in the attacking end. And it'll be at the right circle for it'll be Moss, actually. The righty face-off man. Catholic Central has its goalie off. Aaron is on the bench. Calculated risk by Coach Kyle Marchand. 6 attackers out there. He's betting that the Rockets can't hit the empty net in 4 seconds. Off the tie-up, it comes free. More shooting, hit a leg in front. The Cougars nearly paid off that gamble, but Tyler Cootie got the block as the buzzer sounds, ending period number 1. A lot of action, a lot of goals, 2 for either side. And just like last night, we're tied after 1 period. Catholic Central 2, Reeths-Puffer 2. Back in about 10 minutes for the second period from Trinity Health Arena in Muskegon. Bring him out indeed. Time for the second period from here in Muskegon. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. Thank you so much for joining us once again. On the road again. Much further on the road tonight for both Catholic Central and me personally. I keep saying tonight. Force of habit in this business. It's difficult when you shift gears to the daytime. But for me, Griff's Ice House is, I could walk there. It'd be a long walk, but I could walk there from my house. I don't know if I'd want to do that all the way out to the Lakeshore, but here we are. The Cougars led 1-0, trailed 2-1, and are now back in a tie score. They played a lot of time tied lately, and they've finished tied in their last two. 2-2 at Caledonia on December the 22nd, last game before Christmas break. And then 3-3 last night against Rockford. 2 OK Roo foes. Coach Marchand said he loves their being tough to beat, but he'd love to find a way to push one over the finish line here and get win number 8. Hopefully this afternoon. Onstad a shot, capping a swung at it with the stick above his shoulders, didn't hit it. That helps the Cougars because otherwise that would have stopped play. Oh, Moss was just cleaned out on a hit from Caden Benner. He stepped up, timed it perfectly, smashed him, and the Rockets clear 200 feet. I should mention it's a Cougars power play in case you're wondering why are they able to control the puck so easily in the offensive zone. Snapped up ice to Gage Potter, who has 2 points in this game. Couple of assists around the boards. Kappinga closed off the escape hatch for the Rockets on that side, but Caden Benner tries the near wing, and he smacks it right by Parker Moore. And all the way down the river again, where Jacob Aaron holds it up on the fresh ice. This is more the type of game that the Rockets want to play, but the Cougars still have time to take command as Carlander gives Potter right back to Carlander on the give and go, but it was deflected away. Rohan Moyer, the man who interrupted the pass. Carlander couldn't drive in. Now Gage Potter shooting short side. He tried to snipe Van Dyke, but couldn't pull it off the shoulder and right down to the ice, and Van Dyke pounces. And yes, his name is Bear. I guess it's appropriate a bear would pounce on something. Speaking of goalies, should note that got a little intel from our student assistant Eli Rice, who runs the camera for every game, by the way, that the defender, Thomas Grassman for Reeths-Puffer, he's the goalie on the Mona Shores lacrosse team. And you're wondering, how's that possible? Well, he attends Muskegon Catholic Central, so he's part of a co-op here with Reeths-Puffer in hockey and a co-op with Mona Shores in lacrosse. So he's a man of 3 uniform combinations, I suppose. Three identities. Here's a shot by Moyer. That's blocked down by Pastelli to the end wall. Power play is over, by the way. The Cougars 1 for 2 on the advantage. Still 3 for their last 7 coming out of the Christmas break. They were converting right around 10% in the first part of the season. So that's an improvement point for them, and so far so good. Switzer shoots, blocked. Moyer, the rebound, and it went off the outside of the goal, and that post floats off its peg again. The left post from our perspective, right post for Aaron as he shoved his right skate against it to push off. That's just part of goaltending in the modern era, so if that net is at all loose, it's going to come free when the goalie tries to get from one side to the other. In this period, it's Aaron's problem, I suppose. 14:45 to go in the second. The puck jammed to the wall. Near side Moyer backhands it to Strunk. Lofts it, strange bounce off a partition right to the front of the net, and Aaron hangs on and gets the whistle. I was talking about a busy hockey weekend. They've got Fury Night here tonight at LC Walker. Force of habit, not LC Walker anymore. Trinity Health Arena. It was LC Walker back when I was the broadcaster for the Jacks in 2011-12. It's been a while. Just thinking it's going to be 14 years this spring. But anyway, we've got World Juniors going on. Sadly, the U.S. knocked out by Finland last night in overtime. I was upset to see that. That was during our game against Rockford. NHL Red Wings in action right now as we speak against the Penguins. Kappinga driving wide. Here he comes, looking for a third point. Couldn't snap it between the legs of Van Dyke. He centers for Moss. He scores! If at first you don't succeed, Kappinga stopped on the shot, got the rebound back behind the net, stuffed it in front for Moss, and don't touch number 14 in blue. He's red hot. 2 goals in this game. Scoring 3 minutes into the second. Cooper Moss has 5 on the year. And there'll be no shelter here. Cougars back on top 3-2. Moss with 3 points. Kappinga with 3 points. Van Dyke couldn't get over. I thought he regrouped fairly well to push out to the top of the crease, but Moss's shot was just perfectly placed off the left post and in. And Moss knew where to go with Kappinga pouncing on that loose puck behind the net. Push down the boards. Catholic Central leads it again. Might be one of those kinds of games. Poked into the slot in Rockets real estate. Benner escapes, though. That's Caden Benner. We've got Caden Benner and Drew Benner, both defenders. Caden's the lefty. Drew's the righty. And the Cougars whack at it. It comes free out to the center circle. Moore pursuing Benner, who sends it ahead, looking for Eli Cootie, but the Rockets are offside. So Kappinga with 3 points. He came into the game with 5 on the season in the first 13 games. So Kappinga is up to 8. Moss is up to 7. I don't believe a secondary assist was given on that play. I'm curious if Gage Potter, yes, he was credited with the secondary assist. So Gage Potter's got 3 points, 12 on the season for him to lead the squad. All 3 goals by the top unit. 2 at even strength, 1 on the power play. Anderson finesses it across. Here's a shot by Cootie that's sticked away by Aaron. That's Eli Cootie. Got 2 Cooties and 2 Benners on the Rockets. Breaking it out, Reynolds. Pass to the middle, deflected by one of the Benners. That was Caden. Turned back the other way. On the counterattack, Eli Cootie's pass. Side of the net. It was weakened by Parker Moore, and Aaron covers it up. So the Reeths-Puffer co-op includes, in addition to the host school, North Muskegon, the Norsemen, also Fruitport, the Trojans. That's where the Cooties go to school. Montague, we've got at least one Montague player, Michael Flanagan, freshman on the team. I mentioned Grassman from Muskegon Catholic Central. And Dominic Switzer is a sophomore at Muskegon Orchard View. So they come from all around. Reminds me of the Sparta co-op, which I saw last night after our game. Sparta defeating Hudsonville 5-3. My son took part in the Sparta Future Spartans Clinic. It was well done by all involved. Kappinga lowers the shoulder, lost control of the puck, but there's Gage Potter to take over. Why not keep this line out there? As Onstad shot it off the pad of Van Dyke, and it pinballs to the near corner where Moss retrieves. Banked it behind the goal. Kappinga centering. Moss for the hat trick. Stop, rebound, score! Gage Potter shovels it into the top of the net. And it's a 4-point night for him, for Kappinga, and for Moss. And it's 4-2 in favor of the Cougars. Gage Potter, that's a good bingo from the side of the net. Cool as you like, just backhanded it up top against Van Dyke. The offense pouring it in at the moment. 12:13 to go in the second. And that one will read Gage Potter from Moss and Kappinga. Gotta love it if you're a Cougars fan. See this team get untracked offensively, have a big afternoon. Well, not all the way there, but so far so good. 4 at this stage. It's more than they've had in a lot of full games this year. Can relieve some tension, too. They've played a lot of close games this season. Those can get exhausting mentally as well as physically when you got to play overtime, especially like they did last night. Cohen Potter takes control, lifting it ahead. Ten Harmsel deflects it forward. Jensen on the chase, so is Berkmeyer. The big boys are out there for the Cougars, Berkmeyer and Jensen. Both 6'3" and above. Ten Harmsel the shot. Big rebound by Van Dyke, but Berkmeyer couldn't shove it home. Instead, it's Onstad. He fires, deflected again. 3 Cougars in the slot, trying to provide the eclipse in front of Bear Van Dyke. It worked, but the puck rattled off of Van Dyke and wide. Onstad held momentarily. Now he's got it back out to center. 11:03 to go in the second. Driven deep by Ten Harmsel. Big bounce off the end wall, nearly shoved on net by Carlander. The shot by Ten Harmsel. Oh, he thought he scored. I don't know how he didn't, actually. It looked like it went in initially, but it missed. Optical illusion from up here, I guess. Driven wide by Jensen. He hightails it off the ice for a line change. Rockets clear, but they are staggering at the moment. Catholic Central taking over early in the second period. 2 goals to come out to break a 2-2 tie at the first intermission. Icing against Reeths-Puffer. And Connor Anderson is bent over, exhausted, as he heads to the home bench. It's not often you see 4 consecutive goals in a game with the same 3 players all factoring in, but we have that today with Gage Potter, Cooper Moss, and Isaac Kappinga. The Cougars' #1 line playing like it today. Around the wood it goes. Eli Cootie couldn't get a touch on it. The kick plates at the bottom of the boards here at Trinity Health are light blue. These were installed back in 2011. A previous owner of the Lumberjacks loved how the old Montreal Forum looked, and that's why he made them blue as opposed to the standard yellow that you see in a lot of places. Turnover in front. Aaron made a save. Great stop. In tight against Grassman, I believe it was. Or no, excuse me, that is Sheldon Frederick, who is down on all fours. He got fallen on in front of the net. That's Eli Cootie, actually, as he steps back up onto his skates. So Cootie had a great opportunity, but Jack Reynolds was nabbed for a penalty in front of the net. So Catholic Central shorthanded for the first time today with 9:57 to go in the second period. First power play for the Rockets. Down by 2. Reynolds gets 2 for hooking. Off the faceoff, Moyer controls it. And the Rockets newcomer speeds it across to Tyler Cootie. Back to Moyer, center point. Switzer on the left flank, mishandled. Gets it right back as Moore overskated a bit. He was expecting the shot, never came from Switzer. Tyler Cootie settles the puck down. Gave it to the corner. A sharp angle chance by Taylor, but he's denied by Aaron. Taylor bidding for his second of the afternoon. Moyer out top. Tyler Cootie. Taylor sending it across. Switzer, a shot blocked right off the skate boot of Parker Moore. Free to the circle. Jammed by Eli Cootie. It's loose out high to Switzer. 1 touch to Moyer back the other way. 1:12 to go on the power play. Moyer a shot, and Aaron handles it and neatly controls the rebound. It was a glove side shot that ricocheted off the glove and right into Aaron's chest, and he pinned it there. 4-2 Catholic Central, but shorthanded by a man for the next minute and 2 seconds. Reynolds in the penalty box. Carlander gets the call at the faceoff dot against Eli Cootie, who drew that penalty. Carlander controls it to the end wall, but the Rockets send their manpower in there to take control. Right back to Cootie. Anderson on his strong side pulls it back as Ten Harmsel confronted him. Anderson mishandled the pass. Pastelli clears. And again, the Cougars using their defensemen to front those point men. It's a different kind of look. PK last night gave up a couple very early on Rockford power plays, but so far so good on this chance. Anderson right to the front, and a pad save by Aaron and swatted away to the far side wall by Carlander. Anderson takes it right back. Looks it over. Carlander blocked his shot. Big bounce far side. Pastelli couldn't clear. Cootie, the slap pass. Anderson fell down, and the Cougars might have something shorthanded. Ten Harmsel fires the pass up to Carlander, but just under his stick, I believe. Looked to be on target, but it must have bounced just a little bit. Rush back on the power play, end of the power play for Reeths-Puffer. Moyer's drive off the stick of Ten Harmsel. Another block shot for the Cougars. Power play is over. Reynolds out of the box, right to the bench. Better a shot off the outside of the post on the deflection. That close. It would have been an even strength goal. Lob through to center. Cohen Potter locates it. Potter getting around Benner right to the goal. Backhand. And Van Dyke fought it off at the short side post. Heminger searching for the rebound. He's got the loose puck behind the net. Threw it out in front. And it's off a rocket skate to Jordan Benkert. And he clears beyond the reach of Parker Moore. This will not be icing as Gevorkian's got to make a play. Rammed into by Benkert on the forecheck. Gevorkian handed it over to Switzer. Centering pass. Taylor bumped by McLean at the right time to send him off stride. Nearly a good chance for Taylor, who already has a goal in this game and 16 on the season, to lead the Rockets. Heminger knuckles the clearance off the far side, or near side boards, excuse me. Switzer battling. Taylor run right through Parker Moore, but the puck goes north, importantly for Catholic Central. Heminger delays, feeds Cohen Potter, a shot deflected. McLean on it. Wrapped it out in front. Rockets can't clear. Gevorkian. He's wrenched down to the ice surface. Taylor takes over again for Reeths-Puffer. Cross-rink delivery on the money to Switzer. Switzer just barely onside as Moore interrupted his rush for a moment. Played back to Strunk. He shoots. Save Aaron, and he hangs onto the puck with 6:27 left in the period. Good free-flowing action at the end of the power play, and then as we return to even strength, Potter and McLean nearly teaming up on a goal. Cohen Potter, that is. Puffer back in action for the first time since prior to New Year's. So they played a little bit over the Christmas/holiday break, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they called it, public school actually. So I have to consider that. Winter break, I suppose. Potter can't guide it out. Now he does. Gage Potter forced it to center. 4 points today for him. Same with Moss, who redirects it up into the stands inadvertently. Trying to get the forward check going. Didn't quite work out. 6:09 to go in the second. I think I said earlier today the first of 4 straight games out of conference for Catholic Central. It was actually 3. Or no, excuse me, it is 4. Yeah, the current game is not listed on their schedule sheet at the moment. They've got Sparta on Tuesday, West Ottawa next Friday. Long shot by Silvis, and then Big Rapids next Saturday. So a lot of game action in January, usually the busiest month. At least it has been in my 4 previous years calling games for the Cougars. This is Cougar Puck Radio. I'm Matt Gajtka. Welcome to Muskegon and Trinity Health Arena. Home ice for the USHL's Muskegon Lumberjacks. Previously, the Fury. Previously, well, they were the Lumberjacks before that. Before that, they were the Muskegon Mohawks. Great hockey town here in Muskie. Gage Potter right to the front, nearly at a 5th point and a second goal, but Van Dyke turned him away from point blank. Huskins kept it at the blue line. He looks across. Good pass. On to Onstad. A shot. Hit his own man, Moss, in front. Anytime this line is on the ice today, they are threatening. Here they go again. Onstad out by the blue. Laid the check, now takes the puck. No, he pulled it out over the blue line, just barely. The linesman right on top of that, and he makes the call for offside. 5.5 to go in the second. Catholic Central has just 1 win in its last 6 games. 1, 2, and 3 over that stretch. They haven't been on a losing streak or anything like that. But they had that tie against the Jeffers Jets up in Gaylord. Oh, my. Gage Potter got hit by the shoot-in. I think he's all right. Gevorkian tried to power it into the offensive zone. It hit Gage Potter, and I think he was just theatrically falling back, as it might have hit him in the cage. Now it hit him in the side, he's indicating. He's trying to get a drink of water, and his own man hits him with a puck on the bench. Caden Benner in trouble. Reynolds tenaciously on him. But Anderson helps out, and he drags it out of the Rocket zone. Anderson down to our left, a shot. Blocker save by Aaron. To the end boards, Eli Cootie, that was Tyler Cootie. Jams it near wing. Switzer keeps it in the attacking zone for Reeths-Puffer. He's got some space. Gevorkian closes that out. Moyer right to the front. Tyler Cootie trying to turn it toward goal, but couldn't make much happen in close quarters. Switzer watches it scale right past him. Now he gets it back on the feed from Moyer. Moyer to Switzer. Looking out in front. His pass redirected by Dozema. His backhand out to the blue line. Held in there nicely by Benner. I don't know how he did it because Carlander got a full-throated whack at it on the backhand. Ten Harmsel couldn't drag it to safety. Reynolds helps out. Ten Harmsel clears. And all the way down it goes. Icing against the Cougars. 4:15 to go in the second period. 2 goals in this period, both scored by Catholic Central. Moss from Kappinga and Gage Potter, then Gage Potter from Moss and Kappinga. They were less than 2 minutes apart in the early stages of this stanza. Catholic Central won 5 in a row before this current 6-game stretch in which they have just the 1 victory. But the whole point of the regular season, MHSAA boys hockey, is build toward the finish. Everyone makes the postseason. And what's nice now is that we do have the OK Conference Tournament to provide some more motivation for regular season results. I do like that, add some drama. The tournament itself was wonderful last year. Strunk trying to clear. East Grand Rapids won that in overtime against the host Granville at Griff's Georgetown. There are plenty of scintillating games on the way. In both brackets, really. Kappinga can't control. Taylor rips it away. Spinning pass, I think it was, looking for Benkert, but that's offline. Lifted off the window by Parker Moore. Here he comes, pushing it through center. He was tripped at mid-ice. No call. The Cougars were hoping for their third power play. Not going to happen. Banged ahead by Benkert of Reeths-Puffer. On that puck, Eli Cootie. Run off by Pastelli. Taylor's shot, he fanned on it. And a penalty is coming against Catholic Central now. Tripping. Second straight call against the Cougars after they had the first 2 power plays of the afternoon. And it's Heminger. 3:04 remaining in the second. From our vantage point up here, the Rockets have been on the back foot for most of this period, but they get a chance now to pull some momentum back. Kappinga laid off the Cougars bench. He's going to get the assignment to start this penalty-killing effort. This will be the centerman against Dominic Switzer, who's got 6 goals and 16 points. Switzer pushed it to the boards. Cleared, though. Puck battle won by Ten Harmsel. And that's one thing that Coach Marchand talked about that he loved from last night. He said his team was a bit sloppy coming off the break, but he loved how they competed for 50-50 pucks, and that was one example right there. Moyer sailing in, played it to the middle, picked off by Carlander, can't clear. Right into the body of Eli Cootie. Second power play for the Rockets. They're 0 for 1. Moyer drifting toward goal. Wrister blocked by Carlander again, right back to Cootie, missed the net. Another rebound and a shot by Switzer. That ricocheted off of, I believe, Ten Harmsel in front. One of the Cougars got a piece. Ten Harmsel wins the puck on the near wall and flushes it out. So if he did block that shot, he did it all there, Casey Ten Harmsel. The junior D-man, 6 feet, 165 pounds. Plays with that long reach. Tyler Cootie couldn't make a play. Onstad unable to gun it by the Rockets' picket fence they set up at the blue line. They've got 3 guys back there. And so it's Tyler Cootie. Drop pass to his brother Eli. Making a move to his forehand, over to Tyler, under his stick. Picked up by Onstad, hammered out of the zone, down it goes. 45 seconds to go on the power play. Bear Van Dyke stops it behind the goalie, trying to get in the way of Moss, and that's going to be a penalty against Reeths-Puffer for interference. Bear Van Dyke, the goaltender, called for interference. How do you like that? Well, the Cougars like it a lot. With 1:40 to go in the period, they'll go back to even strength, 4-on-4. You know, it's funny, we saw that call, if you're a fan of the World Juniors, I believe it was the Swedish goalie got called for interference in the game against the U.S. last week. A lot of goalies like to get away with stepping out of their crease, getting in the way of forecheckers, and I was happy that one was detected, and I'm obviously happy that one just now was detected. So Van Dyke can't go to the penalty box, in case you're curious. Someone on the Reeths-Puffer side has to serve the interference penalty for him. Now, if it's a major penalty against a goalie, he does go to the box, but not a minor. So Van Dyke for interference, and the Cougars will have a power play in 36 seconds, assuming no further penalties are issued. For now, though, it's 4-on-4. Dozema, Moss, the forwards out there, Pastelli and Moore are your defenders. Moore lifts it down the wall. Moore kicks it to his stick on the attempted clear. Did he keep it in? He did, but he fell down. Punched past him by Taylor, but no harm there, as Taylor didn't have enough speed to catch up to the loose puck. In 17 seconds, the Cougars will have a power play. Dozema directs it ahead as he fell to the boards. Rohan Moyer. He might want to just hang on to the puck for a while, as the penalty kill is about to begin for Reeths-Puffer. Moyer, who played for Windy City in AAA midget hockey last year, lost control of the puck. Back with it, Moss. Hemminger's out of the box. It's a power play for the Cougars. Centering is Moss off the stick of Van Dyke. Pastelli takes it back. Saucer pass, held in just barely. No, it wasn't, by Moore. Second time in this period, he has barely been unable to keep the puck in at the blue line. That's offside against the Cougars on the shoot-in. 1:06 left on the power play, but only 46 seconds remaining in the period. So I'll go by that clock, the latter of the two, because that's all that matters right now. Catholic Central back on the advantage. Power play number 3. They're 1 for their first 2. This one a partial power play. But the way they've been going lately offensively, maybe they won't need the whole power play. Kappinga kicks it back on the defensive zone faceoff. That was ruled to be intentional offside. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think Moore was trying to hold it. There was no deception intended there. Moore the cut in. Anderson held him off. Moore to the loose puck behind the goal. Cohen Potter with 26 seconds to go in the period. Potter getting a look on the power play. Banks it back to his little brother Gage. Back to Cohen. Bottom edge of the circle. Looks it over. Shoots. Van Dyke holds it out. Kappinga looking for any kind of loose puck, but it didn't fall out of the paraphernalia of Bear Van Dyke. 15 seconds to go before the intermission. The faceoff will be at the right circle. Kappinga, Cohen Potter, Gage Potter. They're your forwards. Different look for the Cougars. Moore and Onstad, the defenders. On second attempt, the Rockets win it, and Anderson bangs it all the way down. Aaron just trying to prevent Cootie from getting there first. Could not do it. Eli Cootie, a centering pass. But there's Cohen Potter in a good defensive position. Handed it to Onstad. On to Kappinga. Time running out, though, in the period, and Catholic Central couldn't go the distance. Meanwhile, back in the neutral zone, Onstad was wiped out on a hit by Tyler Cootie. Pardon me, that was Eli Cootie, 17, not 7, but it looks like the referees found a way to keep the teams apart. Catholic Central, though, barking at the Rockets. Jack Reynolds, in particular, made a dismissive hand motion toward, I think it was Rohan Moyer. Not sure who his ire was directed at, but we've got some emotion at the end of the second period as the Rockets head off to the dressing room. And there's only one way off the rink here in Muskegon, so the Cougars had to wait their turn. 2 goals in the second for Catholic Central. They've put a down payment on this one. It's 4-2. CC after 2 periods. We'll be back for the third after this. From Trinity Health Arena, I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. Third period on tap from Trinity Health Arena. I've said that wrong a few times over the years. Trinity Health Arena here in Muskegon. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. Wherever we are, it's been great to have you along. Catholic Central scored 2 in the second. Catholic Central actually trailed this game 2-1, but 3 in a row in the grand scheme of things. They've got 1 period separating them from their first win since the victory against Midland Dow at home. Last time the Cougars got a win on the road in a true road game, that was back in late November at Forest Hills Northern Eastern. They haven't played too many true road games until the last 2 days. Pastelli back to retrieve it, and just like that, the Cougars' power play, or what remained on it, runs out. So they're 1 for 3. Still, though, 3 goals and 7 chances coming out of the break. That'll work. That'll help the cause in a big way. But really, outside of a 2-minute stretch in the first period, in which the Cougars allowed a pair of goals, they have been largely in control of this game, and that's offside against Reeths-Puffer. 16:05 to go in regulation. And normally, we say a long break coming up after a Saturday game in high school hockey, at least of 3 days. If you play on Wednesday, for instance, a lot of times it's 5 days. In this case, it's just going to be 2 because Catholic Central hosts Sparta in a rare Tuesday tilt at Southside. I'll have the broadcast for you at 7:30 approximately. That's when warm-ups will start, at the very least. Silvis jams up against Kappinga. Puck loose. Potter back to the point. Gevorkian. 4 points apiece for every member of this forward line. Kappinga, Gage Potter, and Cooper Moss. Moss goes to the net front. Gage Potter handles the feed from Kappinga. Centering for Moss. Another hat trick bid, but that was deflected away. Loose in the slot. And hacked to center off a deflection. Parker Moore's got to chase it. He scoops over to Kappinga, who slaps it on the backhand side. All the way down it goes. And that's offside against Reeths-Puffer. Just looking back on it, Catholic Central has played just 4 true road games coming into this one out of their 13 total. They lost to Forest Hills Central the weekend before Thanksgiving. They beat Lumen Christi on the road 3-0. Tied Rockford on the road. And just 2 weeks ago, they tied Caledonia on the road. So a couple of ties, a win and a loss. Trying to go back above 500 away from home. With this game today, Anderson, the high flip, handled by Switzer. His pass went behind Tyler Cootie at center ice. Look out, Taylor steamrolled Morgan Pastelli, but Pastelli appears to be just fine. One of those hits that looks worse than it was. McLean pulling up. McLean a backhand, nearly connected on to Cohen Potter at the inner edge of the left face-off circle. Not to be. Pastelli working it back toward the sidewall, but Taylor poke-checked him, and out into neutral ice it goes. Anderson cleared for Reeths-Puffer. The Cougars attacking the goal down to our left. Almost said Lumberjacks there. That's a old habit somewhere deep in the brain. Now the Jacks are at home tonight against Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. But they'll be dressed as the Muskegon Fury for their theme night, honoring the old pro squad that often reigns supreme in the UHL, United Hockey League. Back to take control. There's Parker Moore. Banked it to Carlander. Speeds it on across. There's Jack Reynolds. He got around one checker, but the puck drifted away to Rohan Moyer. Moyer, the pull up. Good skating, but lost the puck. Carlander centers. Reynolds right there. Kalu Stozema pumped it wide from close range. All the way back. Gevorkian, a wrist shot. Kicked away by Anderson. Picked up by Benkert. Banked through center. That's going to go too far for anyone to handle before it reaches the goal line. It's icing against the Rockets. 13-13 to go. This is the 6th home game at Trinity Health Arena for Reeths-Puffer. They've also played one at Lakeshore, but that was against Grand Haven, and that was technically the Buccaneers' home game. The Rockets lost their first 2 at home, 9-2 to Troy United, and then 5-4 to Grand Rapids Christian. They recently beat Kalamazoo Eagles in a mercy rule. Gage Potter takes over the puck for the Cougars off the face-off. The Rockets also downed East Kentwood 9-1, another mercy rule win. Both of those games were started by Kaysen DeVal, junior goalie who goes to Fruitport High School. Those are his only 2 decisions, though. Turned over in front, chance for the Rockets, and Switzer robbed from right in front by Aaron. The Cougars turned it over, but Jacob Aaron says no to keep it a 2-goal margin. Switzer, I think, tried to golf that under the bar, but it didn't work out for him. Just almost too close to the goalie. It is possible to be too close to have an advantageous shooting angle. Aaron, with that tall frame, keeping those shoulders tall especially, just smothered that shot. Bank to center, Gage Potter on the move. He's got Kappinga joining him. Pass goes right behind the Cougar captain, though. One of the few times that the chemistry has betrayed that line today. Icing against Reeths-Puffer again. Catholic Central will be playing its 5th home game coming up on Tuesday against Sparta. Technically, the Cougars are 3-1 in those games, although they lost the game to Gabriel Richard on the ice. It was eventually given to them via forfeit. And so, they'll be looking for win number 4 on home ice, technically, as Kappinga looked to work his way toward the front of the net. Just couldn't quite get all the way there. Couldn't run that gauntlet. Eli Cootie, a lead pass for the Rockets. Reeths-Puffer needs a spark. Catholic Central knows that. They want to play with the puck. They want to play with control this period. But that pass misses from Moore, looking for Gage Potter, who slams his stick down in frustration, icing the other way against the Cougars that time. Disjointed start to the third, but it's still a 4-2 game. 11:55 to go. The tie-up, loose puck, and cradled by Ten Harmsel. Gives it to McLean, pushing his way in. Caleb McLean, good pass back. Onstad a shot, blocked. Penalty coming against Reeths-Puffer, and it's called now with Benkert touching it. Interference, it looked like in front of the net. And Caden Benner, who was called for it, wants to ask why. Either way, it's a 4th power play for your Cougars with 11:40 remaining in the third. Caden Benner to the box this time. Back in the first period, it was Drew Benner who went off. Something about that last name this afternoon, I suppose, for the Rockets. Can the Cougars add another? Onstad. It was Kappinga who scored the power play goal late in the first that tied the score and started this 3-goal push for Catholic Central that's allowed them to take control of the game, at least for now. Moore on to Potter. Moore having some trouble, lost it out to center. He's got to step back. Long lead pass goes right over the back of Tyler Cootie. In on net. Aaron smacked it to the far boards. Given right back to the Cougars. And Moore, he couldn't get it out though. Intercepted by Eli Cootie. But ripped right away by Cooper Moss. Strong skating. His pass near wing. Eludes the reach of Kappinga. Moyer for Reeths-Puffer. Moyer, can he clear? He will not be able to. Moore used his stick and then his foot to keep that puck alive in the offensive zone. Potter takes a look. Scoots it to Onstad. Right back to Potter through his skates, but there's Kappinga overlapping. 1 minute to go on this power play. Kappinga backdoor pass. Moore. Oh, he stubbed the shot. He had an open net, or at least an open side, with Van Dyke forced to honor Kappinga and his move toward the net from the left side. Moss holds in at the point. Can he get by Cootie? He cannot. He was wrenched down to the ice. Play continues. Moore looking backside with a pass. It ricocheted off a Rocket skate. Far side Onstad. Popped it to Moss. The puck got caught in the skates of the referee there in the corner. Onstad, though, shovels it ahead on his backhand side. 10 to go in regulation. 20 to go on the power play. Center to Kappinga. Off his skates. He at least keeps it deep. Moyer fanned on the clear. He throws his head back in frustration. Kappinga a shot from a sharp angle off of Van Dyke, and then the net comes off its mooring. 9:52 remaining. 12 seconds to go before Caden Benner comes out of the penalty box, evening things up for Reeths-Puffer. But we're not quite there yet. A fresh fivesome on the ice for Catholic Central. Dozema, the centerman. And Dozema knocks it forward. Planned play. Dozema checked his man. Carlander gets knocked down. Body's hitting the floor behind the net. Meanwhile, Pastelli handling out high. His shot wide, still punched away with a blocker by Bear Van Dyke. This is Reynolds. Right back to the point. Pastelli changes the angle. High shot. Glove save by Van Dyke. And Carlander with a drive-by that did not please Chase Strunk. He took a whack at Carlander's shin pads as Carlander heads off to the bench. Power play is over. Catholic Central's 1 for 4. Scooted to the near side boards. Taylor escapes and passes off to Switzer. He kicks it ahead. It's a fresh ice sheet down to our right. Reeths-Puffer has had to defend for much of this third period. And it is a wild difference when you look from up here. Strunk, though, shooting. Missed the target high from 60 feet out. Taylor driving, backhanding. That's also over the crossbar. Hayden Taylor is a good player. He's a handful. Great size, great skill. Switzer teams up with him. He has the loose puck. Right to the front. Aaron saw it through traffic and kicked it away. Down to a knee goes Switzer. No penalty called. Some of the Rockets were barking, looking for a power play. Berkmeyer can't clear for the Cougars. Tenharmsel will. His pass goes under the stick of Berkmeyer, though, and that was all from behind center red, so icing the call. Jacob Aaron hasn't been leaned on too hard today, but another key save to keep this thing 4-2 just a moment ago. The snapshot from Switzer through traffic. It was not an easy stop with all sorts of bodies between the shooter and the goalie. Eli Cootie jams it back to the point. Tyler Cootie to Benner. A shot. Glove save again. And Aaron keeps it. Waist high. A slight confrontation at the net here. Not much to speak of, but the Rockets are trying to stir things up. If you hear a beeping sound over the broadcast, I'm not sure what it is. We're trying to figure it out in the press area. Can never tell if it's going out over the airwaves or not. I kind of doubt it, but just letting you know. Reynolds dumps for Catholic Central, and I guess he was behind the red line. It looked good to me. Of course, if you wanted to call that sort of thing, this is the best vantage point in the building to do so. Seems counterintuitive as we're high above the surface, but it's all a matter of perspective. There's been talk at the NHL level of getting one of the referees up in the press box or away from the ice because it's so hard to call a clean hockey game from down there where it's all a swirling mass of bodies and colors. It's not an easy game to officiate. I always try to keep that in mind. Anderson backhanding it to Cootie. Tyler Cootie sends it ahead. And the Rockets, they've been trailing by 2 for more than a period's worth of action now. Tyler Cootie steps off the sideboards, drops it right back to brother Eli. He sends it deep. Behind the net, Switzer, rubbed out by Gavorkian. Switzer, though, a stuff attempt, and shutting the door, Jacob Aaron on that near side post. Worth a shot, though, for the Rockets, as their offense has dried up in recent minutes. 7:46 left in the third. And it looks like we might have corresponding penalties called from that post-whistle scrum. We will. It's Taylor for Reeths-Puffer, who slams the penalty box door. You got to watch that. You can easily get dinged for a 10-minute misconduct for something like that. Gavorkian in the box for Catholic Central. It won't affect the play on the ice. It'll remain 5-on-5. To the near side boards, Ten Harmsel, and he skies it right off the glove of Grassman. On down it goes. Moyer using the net to protect the puck as he did a button hook out of his own end. The feed for Switzer was deflected. No icing here. Onstadt shovels it ahead. Grassman can't find it at his feet. And Kappinga forces it to center. He had Heminger with him. It's Kappinga, Heminger, and Gage Potter, the forward trio, for a change. Kappinga, the centerman, back in his own end to help clean up the garbage. He's got the puck right ahead under the stick of Heminger. Moyer takes it back. Moyer, a shimmy and a shake, and look at those moves as he creates some time for himself. Through center, swiveling in, lost it to Ten Harmsel. Poke checked him. Then Ten Harmsel himself was poke checked by Switzer. Centering play from below the goal line by Silvis, intercepted by the Cougars and cleared by Casey Ten Harmsel. And that's icing against Catholic Central. 6:42 remaining. We stay at 5-on-5. Good job by Catholic Central not to give up a power play so far as well. That's one area where Reeths-Puffer has excelled this season. Their conversion rate well over 30%. But it's been the Cougars' power play that has made at least somewhat of a difference today. A late tying goal in the first period. The battle for it. Dozema whacks it forward with one hand. Off to Moore. Back far side. Cohen Potter clears it across and off the twig of Carlander. Safely to neutral ice. Brenner's pass right on the center ice logo here at Trinity Health Arena. Anderson meandering his way in. Anderson missed the goal short side. Frederick banked it behind. Out of the corner. Pastelli. Carlander helps out. Dozema lugs it through center. Cohen Potter, oh, he left a moment too soon. And then Dozema shot it after the whistle. And to say that Caden Benner didn't like that would be an understatement, as he runs Dozema into the wall, far side. It was that close to a 2-on-1, though, for Catholic Central. But I guess Cohen Potter was maybe a half step ahead of the play. It looked really close from up here. And guess what? I spoke too soon on not giving up power plays. Dozema is called for unsportsmanlike conduct for shooting that puck about a second after the whistle sounded. The referees ruled that he could have held back. So that's one you'd like to avoid if you're Catholic Central. Now the PK unit's got to go back to work. Perhaps one last pivotal moment in this game. Under 6 to play. Dozema in the box. And he gets some penalty killing time as well, so it hurts in that way too. Moyer, the face-off win for Reeths-Puffer. Far side Switzer, couldn't get the shot away. Ten Harmsel right in his face again. Switzer turns it back in close quarters to Moyer, near side. Eli Cootie couldn't handle it initially, now he does. Switzer shot, save, Aaron, loose puck. Ted Harmsel right there to usher it away to the corner, and he spins the clearance all the way down. Half minute gone on the Rockets' power play. Their third of the afternoon. And by the numbers, you'd expect them to score on 1 out of 3, so the Cougars trying to buck that reality. Eli Cootie on the near side boards. Lost it there, pulled away by Onstad, and he jams it all the way back behind the goal line for Reeths-Puffer. Bear Van Dyke handing it off. Long lead pass from Moyer onto the stick of the defenseman Anderson. Aiming to make something happen below the goal line, kicks it to his stick on his backhand side. Connor Anderson got 11 points on the year, by the way. Near side Cootie, a shot goes well high as he drifted open. Centering pass from Moyer. Moyer has it again. Drives it deep. Anderson, 40 seconds to go on this power play. Reeths-Puffer trailing 4-2 as they have for a long time in this game. Nearly half the game. Moyer. Tyler Cootie, a shot, ricocheted off of, I think, Carlander in front. Yes, it did. He's wincing. He caught that off his right leg. Heminger wins the battle, and he scoots it out. Back down to the Reeths-Puffer line. Heminger stays out. The other 3 Cougar penalty killers change it up. Cootie tripped as he came in over the blue line. That's another penalty against Catholic Central. Parker Moore just got his stick in Cootie's skates. And just as Gavorkian comes out for those corresponding minor penalties, the Cougars will go short by 2 men. So Gavorkian's penalty wasn't the one that was counting. It was Dozema. A little confusing there. Sorry about that. But Moore called for tripping with 4:08 left. It's a short 2-man disadvantage for Catholic Central. Fourth power play, for Reeths-Puffer. 5 penalties in the game for Catholic Central, but only 4 of those led to power play chances against. Last night, you might remember, the Cougars killed off a 2-minute 2-man disadvantage late in the second against Rockford. That kept the score 2-1 Rams going into the third. And then CC eventually scored twice in the third to get it to a 3-3 tie through regulation, and that's how we finished in overtime. The PK for the Cougars getting asked to come up massive now. At the very least, you want to prevent a clean face-off win, as we have a timeout called by Catholic Central to talk things over. But what you don't want to do is lose that draw cleanly and then allow a setup on a 5-on-3 against you. Coach Bill Zalba for Reeths-Puffer going over a few things as Kyle Marchand for Catholic Central has the marker board out. And their assistant coaches on the Cougars bench, Mike Moss, Corey Carlander, also offering some input. No goals since 5 minutes into the second period in this game. It looked like we were on pace for about a 7-5 final. I don't think we're going to get there. I shouldn't speak too soon. 4:08 left, though, in regulation. 5-on-3, briefly, for 13 seconds to be exact, before Jackson Dozema can come out of the box. And the Rockets do get what they were looking for. A clean face-off win. Eli Cootie, top of the circle, a shot. Stick save by Aaron, and he directs the rebound to the corner. Just as importantly, Kappinga wins the battle for the puck on the far boards. Here comes Dozema. It's a 5-on-4 for Reeths-Puffer. The Rockets officially 0 for 3, but this is now their 4th opportunity. Poked out to the line by Dozema, couldn't get it out. Eli Cootie closing. Glancing across. Good pass to Moyer. His shot right along the ice, and he missed it to the right. Ted Harmsel can't clear. Far wing. Picked off the boards by Taylor. He shoots. That was a hard one off the arm of Aaron, and he controls the rebound just long enough to get the whistle. At the left side of the crease, Anderson pulled it loose, but not before play was halted. Hayden Taylor can really let it rip, and he tested Aaron with that high shot. I think he was trying to go short side. And Aaron appears to be maybe wincing a little bit. I'm not sure. Maybe just in his usual posture, hard to tell. Now he's set to go. All that equipment, but sometimes those pucks find gaps in that equipment. Poked forward, and Cooper Moss gets the clear. Key play, 3:20 left. 1:10 remaining on the fourth Rockets power play. The Cougars' PK has been perfect so far. Anderson calling for the pass. Instead, Taylor pulls it ahead into the offensive zone all by himself. Taylor holding, giving to Eli Cootie. 24 points on the year. Cootie has to track this errant pass down, out by the blue line. Onstad forced him there. Carlander pounces. Onstad can't quite get it out, though. Cootie pinning it to the kick plate on the near side. Carlander this time. He takes over, at least for now. Onstad helping out. This is all well and good for the Cougars. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Anderson fan on the pass, tapped across the line, and cleared just barely by Moss. Great physical work by Moss to knock Caden Benner down, and Benner's mask has come loose. Yeah, his chin strap is dangling there. So the play is stopped for that reason. Player safety at the forefront. 2:30 remaining in regulation. Bear Van Dyke remains in net. I was wondering if we would see the Rockets pull the goalie and make it a 6-on-4 power play, but now there's just 22 seconds to go on the advantage, and the faceoff will be at center ice. And literally right at the center ice dot. Benner won the faceoff. Back for Reeths-Puffer. Cootie up the wall. The Rockets trying to avoid a second straight regulation loss. Onstad cleaned out on a strong body check by Benkert, but the Cougars gun it around and out, courtesy of Morgan Pastelli, and that might do it for this power play. We're down to the final 5 seconds. Parker Moore waiting to let himself out of the penalty box. You don't see that too often. The door remains open. That could be dangerous as well. Moyer moving his way in. The referee's got to go back and close that, or the linesman, excuse me. He takes care of that. Good work as well. Cohen Potter drags it ahead. Oh, it's an empty net. Van Dyke's out of the goal. Centering pass for Heminger right under his stick. 1:48 remaining, and the Rockets still have some life. It's a little bit of life, but it's some. Eli Cootie the shot. Rebound to the far side off the save by Aaron. Taylor sent Cohen Potter sprawling. Cross-ring pass. Switzer takes it, shoots it, and didn't get through. Gevorkian blocked it. Gevorkian clears it to the near wall. 6 attackers out there for Reeths-Puffer. Calling on, broke up the play. Here comes Potter. Oh, it's offside against Catholic Central. Calling on just barely had both skates on the offensive side of the blue line. 1:23 remaining. It's been a while since we've seen an empty net situation for the Cougars. And, well, it's over now as Bear Van Dyke is back between the pipes. But he might be leaving again. Kappinga goes forward off the draw, just trying to keep it simple. Carlander guides it over the blue line. Knocks it out of the air, does Carlander, to prevent the rush back the other way. Dozema pursuing. Van Dyke sends it away from the front of his net. Gevorkian back for it for Catholic Central. We're down to the final minute of regulation. And the Cougars trying for their first win of 2026. They're close. Ten Harmsel couldn't clear. It's off a Rocket skate high in the air. Chipped off the boards by Carlander. Played toward the empty net by Kappinga. That close to a 5-point afternoon, but it just ricochets wide off a Rocket stick. 40 seconds to go. Moyer across. Right in front of the Cougars bench. Ten Harmsel dumped. No penalty. Catholic Central certainly wanted one, but they're not going to get it. Diagonal pass to Taylor. Near side, blue line. Gevorkian bumped him. 24 seconds left. And now watch out for some extracurricular stuff. And I think the men in stripes are sensing that as the whistle sounds. Or was that just for an offside? I don't see a call being made to either team. Changes, though, for both sides. Van Dyke stays in net. Looks like that'll be the end of that. And that's going to just about do it with the face-off in neutral ice. Moss wins it just to remove any doubt. Ten Harmsel's pass. Gage Potter, 4 points today. A shot off the arm of Van Dyke. Hops wide. Behind the net, Heminger. 10 seconds to go. He throws it to the front. Picked off by Frederick. Lost control of it to Kevorkian. He iced it from center with 1.2 seconds remaining. We couldn't just let that time tick off? I guess not. In a 2-goal game, we'll have one more face-off. And the linesman discussing it. Are they saying it might not even be an icing? Well, it's an official's mistake because the face-off is right at center for the second time this period. Drop of the puck. Rockets win. It doesn't matter. Cougars win. Cougars win. They go unbeaten on the road this weekend. Come from behind tie against Rockford yesterday. Less than 24 hours later, they come out here to the Lakeshore and they take a 4-2 win against the Reeths-Puffer Rockets. A pair of goals for Cooper Moss, one each for Isaac Kappinga and Gage Potter. Each of those three gentlemen had 4 points on the day, and Jacob Aaron picks up win number 8 as the Cougars get win number 8. They're 8-3-3, and their first true road win since back in late November. They're back above 500 on the road as well. So Catholic Central will be back in action on Tuesday, trying to stay unbeaten in the new year. Meanwhile, the Rockets dropped to 7-6-1 with this out-of-division loss. The Rockets had a 2-1 lead, but Catholic Central ended up putting the grab on this win. Late in the first period, they tied it. 2 quick goals early in the second ended up being the difference. One by Moss, one by Gage Potter, as that line was absolutely dominant today. Thanks so much for joining us for Cougar Puck Radio Saturday matinee. Handshakes at center ice, and the Rockets and the Cougars salute the fans who made the trip out here to Muskegon. We salute you for joining us here on the channel. Back at it against Sparta Tuesday night special at Southside, 7:30 p.m. face-off or whereabouts. I'll have the call for you again right here on CPR. This is Matt Gajtka saying have a great rest of your weekend. God bless, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days